Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to bring on a conversation today with Kristen Clancy from Storycatcher Photography. Kristen, thanks so much for coming on to speak with us today on Success TV. I'm Crystal Kramers, and I would love for you to take a moment and introduce yourself to our audience and a little bit about your business.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm honored. So I started Storycatcher Photography about 5 years ago. And I remember when I first started that I had one photo of myself and I pretty much used it for everything. So I realized that it was time for me to show up as the face of my brand and walk the talk that I have been giving my clients. And even though I was nervous, because I chose to be on this side of the camera for a reason, I was kind of excited and I felt ready. So my name is Kristen, and I have struggled with feeling confident pretty much my entire life. However, something magical happened after that first photo shoot, because I now had photos of myself that I actually loved, and they really represented my fun, energetic, and sometimes quirky self. So this gave me the confidence to show up more for my business. And the more confidently I showed up for my business, the more dream clients I started to attract. And with those dream clients came clarity on my purpose. So I finally realized that my purpose is to support other badass female entrepreneurs show up with confidence for their business. And I get to do this with creative brand images that really capture the personality of my clients and that they can actually use to market their business so that they can then in turn show up for their audience with their gifts and talents and serve their audience.
So juicy. My next question was going to be, what transformation do you provide for your clients? So that is fantastic.
Well, yeah. I guess the transformation is the confidence, like showing up so that they can serve their clients. Yes.
Well, and from a personal experience working with you for a few years now, I can definitely relate to the brand awareness or identity awareness that I also had in myself after viewing really what you saw and created through your lens. And for me on the other side as a client going, holy crap, like that's me. You're like, yes. And so that beautiful transformation of just the awareness of seeing myself from your lens was so powerful. So I wanted to just sprinkle that in there from a client perspective as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? There's something powerful about being able to see yourself through somebody else's eyes. Somebody who sees the beauty in you without the judgment, with no judgment, and just really sees you.
Love that. Yes. So I'm curious to go down a little bit of a deeper path to tap into what inspired you to become an entrepreneur. If we can go a little bit deeper into that space.
For sure. Well, my entrepreneurial journey actually started unexpectedly. I knew that I wanted to work for myself. I actually started out doing graphic design. I went back to school in my 30s for graphic design. And I knew that I was going to work for myself eventually. But after I finished school with honors, I couldn't find a job. So I created my own job, and I was a single mom. So I wanted to have the freedom and the flexibility to create my own hours so that I could spend time with my daughter. And I also wanted to get paid for doing what I love, like without somebody looking over my shoulder and telling me how to do it. And yeah, so that was my inspiration. Don't tell me what to do.
Well, and you made a decision to create something of your own, which I think is really empowering. And the fact that you're doing something on your own that's changing other people's lives. So it's like this triple feel good shift. Let's talk a little bit about your beliefs and your values and how that can really support you in guiding your business decisions.
So the core beliefs and values that I incorporate into my business is number one, curiosity. So really asking questions and listening to the answers, like for my business, but also for my clients, so that I can create an experience for myself and also for my clients that feels safe and really showcases my talents and their talents. So yeah, really just getting curious and connection. Connection is probably the most important value for me right now, like really connecting with my clients. And also I've been on this self connection journey as well for the last couple of years. And really creating like this collaborative experience that, you know, allows people to show up as themselves. Creativity is definitely one of my core values. Creativity with photos, but also approaching problems and solutions with an open mind. So really keeping an open mind. And empowerment. Empowerment is huge. You know, just making sure that my audience feels, my clients feel emotionally supported, in a way that they really feel seen, and it feels safe for them to show up and just be themselves.
Love that. And I can contest. Being in your world and experiencing the creative flow, the fun, the energy, the playfulness, the results through the lens and the potency. I concur. I love that about you. What's been the
Yeah,
most
thank you.
rewarding part of your entrepreneurship journey?
Oh God, so many things, but honestly, like really creating these connections, like how you and I connected over our photo shoot, and just watching, like I get to meet some of the most amazing and work with the most amazing human beings and really support them on their journey. So like just being a small part of that journey, and then just even watching the evolution of that journey, because one of the packages that I offer is like a seasonal shoot. So and you and I were just even talking about this on the weekend about how, you know, the evolution from when we first started was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Almost three. Yeah.
Wow. And so just watching your evolution and your growth, like that is just, that's the most rewarding part for me of this journey, of this
Beautiful.
job that I get to do, this work that I get to do.
Yeah. And you tend to kind of know everybody too, right? Because it's like, hey, hey, hey. We go
Yeah.
downtown, I'm like, hey. Kristen, I know, from being in your space, the professionalism, your strategy,
Mm,
connection points, really how you deliver not just the experience, but there's this awareness unfolding on how the brand can connect to the business. Like there's this whole
mm,
process there of discovery. And I know that that experience for me really helps me at any stage of my business go, where am I at? And what is my
mm,
focus? And really tuning back into myself because I'm an expression of my brand.
mhm.
So even though we've, been working together in the evolution over the last, 3 years, I'm still coming back to that foundation and that uncovering of who am I really? And where am I
Mm,
stepping into in my brand and that
mm,
potency? And you hold that space such beautifully
mm,
when it's like dropping the energy in and bringing in that creativeness, so it's not just an essence or like this feeling anymore, it's actually tangible. Because it's all ether. Right? It's like it's
right.
up in the vision where
Yeah.
for me, my experience is you're able to capture that and bring it into this 3D world to be able to express that, because it's this feeling to bring into reality. So thank
Yeah.
you for that. And through those discovery sessions that we have and
Yeah.
strategy, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, now I kind of can put it together, and it lays out in where it makes sense to me, because I have such expression through feelings and emotions, and it's like
Yeah.
hard to kind of drop it into that physical form.
Yes. Yeah. So the process really is, I guess you're saying, it sounds like it's a little bit grounding for you to
It
kind of
is.
like, where am I now? And so you can just kind of tap into like, yeah,
And
where
it's
am I
such a
now? What do I
it's a
need now?
beautiful piece for me to then express, because I remember when we
Mhm.
first started working together, I had hundreds of photos, and it's like, why am I not sharing these? And it was like, well, what do I say? And those types of things. And I was really realizing that through my evolution of this, like being heard, being seen, it's like, hey, now I have these photos, but like, what do I say? Right. So it was like, and now I'm getting
Uh-huh.
of sharing and expressing myself
Mhm.
and pulling from all of these resources. And I know we've got another shoot coming up where also my identity and this brand is really taking a different
Mhm.
direction. So
Yeah,
thank you for holding that space. And when you talk
my
about the
pleasure.
rewarding piece, I get to be over here with my pom poms because I absolutely have experienced it myself. And
Yeah.
so, what could you tap into sharing about the unique challenges you've encountered as an entrepreneur?
Oh boy, so many. I mean, for me, especially in this business, like feelings of lack of self-worth and self-confidence of my own and limiting beliefs, like fear of success has been a challenge, and imposter syndrome too as a photographer. Well, I think in any business, it's, we just get scared, and perfectionism. And so identifying those things has been a process for sure. And just even the awareness of them helps to shift them, is what I'm finding for myself. Of course, stress, burnout, and working crazy hours. Um, Procrastination and time management have been pretty big. And now I'm struggling. One of my challenges is growth and scaling, and where to go from here.
Mm, juicy, juicy, juicy.
Yeah.
So many questions that are coming to me, and I'm going to just tap into a couple of them. How do you overcome that stress and burnout, that feeling of overwhelm when as an entrepreneur, maybe you have deadlines as well? It's like, how do you overcome that? What are some of your tools or strategies or ways
Um,
of being, I should say?
yeah. Meditation has been huge. And I find it so interesting because like when you have deadline and you're stressed about something and you just want to keep working on it. And so it feels counterintuitive to like stop and then just do a meditation. Um, but I'm finding like that's what works for me, and having a really solid morning routine that includes meditation and some gratitude journaling, like really starting my day off on the right foot. So, and I stopped drinking coffee probably about a year ago. So now I'm on to celery juice. So
Love
really
that.
creating the solid foundation, like not just healthy mind, but also healthy body, and working out, yoga. So I'll switch between yoga and working out. Yeah, that's
Oh,
been kind of
perfection.
critical in like managing stress. And when I do find that I'm overworking, I'll make myself stop, even though it's the last thing that I want to do. Even if it's for like 10 minutes, or going for a walk in nature
Mm.
is another
Yes,
one.
please. Yes.
Yeah.
So, when you talk about these things, this way of being to help reduce that stress, what strengths would you kind of determine that you've had the most success in running your business? Like, if you could tap into some of your characteristics of strength.
Communication is huge. Yeah, so really communicating with um my clients, also myself, like what you were talking about earlier, just really checking in, where am I? So having that communication with myself, and also where do I want to be? Where am I going? Where do I want to go? Um, and just maintaining the passion for my business. Like, I love what I do so much. And so that is fuel. And just, yeah, knowing that I'm being of service to others, and then just creating this community where we're all kind of supporting each other and helping each other and cheering each other on. So that's been crucial, that having that strength, and social skills. So being able to, and I had to work at those. Yeah, just being able to connect with people, going to networking events. I used to not like networking events at all. And then I don't know, something switched and I just really started liking them. And I just started naturally stepping into like those social skills that were already there. Discipline is pretty big, pretty big strength. Being open-minded, and then knowing when to take risks. Like starting this business was a risk. Moving out to British Columbia in the first place from Ontario was a risk. Literally started over. So knowing when to take risks and taking them and actually taking them. And then just the last and the most important is understanding the value of self-care. So
Yes, that
knowing
is
when
so
to
missed.
slow down or go for a massage and just take 5 minutes for yourself, go for
Love
and
that.
again, that it was something that I learned the hard way as well.
Yeah, sometimes these lessons aren't always easy, right? And I feel like
No.
as an entrepreneur, sometimes you can't just take that day off, or, it's a lot easier
Yeah.
as an employee to be like, not my problem, just gonna
Yeah.
take the day off. But as an entrepreneur, it's, I always ask myself, what is my relationship to rest? Even in the
That's a
moments
great
that I
question.
do rest, how do I feel while I'm resting? And so I had to get into this state of really uncovering my relationship to rest and really incorporating, like, even my body is like, feels it, but incorporating my journaling and my breath work and all of those
Yeah.
things into my business model again.
Yes.
So I used to have it with the early learning center with the young children, but now
Yeah.
incorporating it back in every day so that it's part of my practice. It's part of my entrepreneurship journey versus
Yes.
not including it in that model, which I think is key, that you're tapping into that morning routine, because that's
Yeah.
ultimately part of this, how you start your day in your business. And without that,
Absolutely.
your day is, I'm assuming, like mine, sometimes completely different and opposite,
Yeah. Yeah.
to regulate that. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. And I'm curious if you could really share with us next just the evolution of your business and your journey since you started. Like, have
Mm-hmm.
there been some pivots? What has kind of
Mm-hmm.
shifted for you?
Um, yeah, actually, when you were talking about the core values, I realized that my core values have shifted since the beginning of my journey. So that was an interesting revelation. I'm like, oh, an interesting insight. But I actually started my entrepreneurial journey in graphic design. So, I mean, that's also a big evolution. um, and what was different about Storycatcher is that when I started my graphic design entrepreneurial journey, I had essentially just created a job for myself. So I I didn't have a vision of growth or, more. I just created a job for myself. I was just living and I didn't know anything more, but I knew. So I had started into the photography side of things, and I had started following other successful photographers who were doing things, and I was like, oh, so I had an awareness of what was possible. And I knew when I moved to British Columbia from Ontario that I wanted to do things differently. And I had a vision of what was possible. So I switched. I knew that I wanted to do photography. So I just said, okay, I'm moving to a new place. I'm all in. I'm all in on this new career and I want to do things differently. So I really had a vision of like helping people and being of service. So that was a big shift of my business, understanding that little piece and not just showing up and doing a job that I could have been doing for somebody else. And just, yeah, really wanting to be of service and helping other people grow their business. That was a big shift. And then also really embodying this experience that I'm offering for other people, for my clients, like that was another big kind of shift and pivotal moment. So I wasn't just, working. I really stepped into and embodied what I was creating for other people.
Well, thank you for doing the embodiment, because I feel like as you evolve in your business, so does the experience for your clients.
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's the embodiment of doing the work to then share and explore and allow them to experience that work too. So thank you for doing the work.
My pleasure.
Love that. No, so we're talking about vision of where you're, where you've been, where you currently are. But if we could tap into the future vision of your business and just kind of drop into that dream state for a moment and play in the possibilities, what does that look like for you?
Yes, I have so many visions. I want to create a deeper emotional experience for women. Something that facilitates growth. So I'm really envisioning an experience that's less on the business side and more on the like showing up for yourself side. Self-love, self-acceptance, self-confidence, and healing without the pressure of feeling like you have to use these photos for your business. So it's a little bit of a different experience. It's an intimate photo shoot experience that allows you just to be who you are and show up as yourself without the mask, and connecting with your inner world and accepting yourself, your story, and celebrating how far you've come, where you're at. Just embracing yourself, your story, all of it, and then just letting go. So yeah, that's one of the visions that I have.
Soul bombs.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's percolating right now. So I'm just working through some of the details of that. So yeah, stay tuned for that in the future. It's going to be, just very small, 1 or 2 spots. If I even get started this summer, but then that's my limiting belief that I need to work on. and my perfectionist fear. Anyways, so another vision that I have is doing more retreat work. So working with either photographing retreats and just really capturing those raw, real moments. Like that's really calling to me, as there's a bit of a theme here that's happening. And so, yeah, just really capturing those moments and maybe even this experience that I'm creating that could be part of a retreat. Yes. So like as a healing modality, just allowing people really to see themselves.
Story catchers going on the road.
Yeah, because I want to travel more, right? Like that's also part of my vision. And what better way to do that than to be, I'm really feeling called to be part of retreats. I don't know. I went to my first retreat in January. And I was like, damn, I want to do more of these. Like I was part of it, but I was also photographing it. And that was
like experience while you're offering an experience. That's a value add to these retreats. because I
Yeah.
also know that for them, that's marketing, that's social proof, that's
Yes.
future advertising. So it's such a win-win
Absolutely.
opportunity for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I want to do more of
Anybody
that.
here, call to action if you're looking for an amazing photographer for your
Yes,
retreat.
exactly.
Details
Putting it out
below.
there.
Yeah. Plant those
Talking to
seeds.
you.
Love that.
And also I'm studying human design. So I want to
Yes.
incorporate that more into my business. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. But so far it's helping me understand myself better, which in turn helps me understand my business better, which in turn helps me understand my clients better. And so that could look like maybe doing readings for clients, and then that maybe drives the direction of the photo shoot or helps them in the
Yes.
direction of how to show up for their business. I'm not
Love
sure.
that.
And then also I want to create some sort of online offering, um, again, that kind of facilitates some growth and healing and that culminates in, and again, I don't know what that looks like yet, putting the pieces together, but that culminates in some sort of photo shoot, or that could be an addition for people who live in the area. But yeah, something that culminates in a photo shoot that just shows that transformation. So something maybe at the beginning and then something maybe at the end. Yeah.
Love that. I want to do a little brainstorming session with you, not on this
Oh my
call.
God.
I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
percolating. All that
Yeah.
sounds so juicy. And what I love when you're sharing is, for me, I get this full body goosebumps, soul bumps. I'm like, oof, that feels so good. Oof, oof,
Soul
oof.
bumps.
Soul bumps,
Yeah.
right? And that's that little internal flame going, there's the nudge, there's the nudge. So
Yeah.
everything you're saying is resonating. And I'm so excited to see the evolution in your business, in your trusting yourself as well, right? These offers, these creative pieces. It's like, as a perfectionist myself, done is better than perfect, throwing it out there,
Yeah.
trialing it, doing a little bit
Yeah.
and seeing how that feels and playing in that energy is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. And those listening as
Soul
well,
bumps.
I'm not sure why those, it's dinging, ding, ding. I don't know if you
We're
can hear
done.
it. Yeah. um but what's interesting is trusting those feelings inside. And for our listeners, hearing Kristen speak, or any of our speakers, they've been really connecting back into that intuitive connection point as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, that soul
Yeah.
led piece going, ooh, does this feel good? Can I move with the
Yes.
energy that excites me? Right.
Yes.
And creating from that place. If there's things that you're
Yes.
not enjoying, that aren't really working, you get to choose what you want to bring into your business and into your creative aspect. So thank you for sharing the successes and the challenges and the future vision of your business with our listeners here today.
Sure.
Yeah. If you had any other advice or information to share with some soul-led entrepreneurs today, what would that be in a few little sentences?
Oh, just do it.
Mm.
Just do it. I mean, if it doesn't work out, you can do something else. And I think you'll find, as if you're following your passion, it will work out. Everything always aligns, and you won't regret at least trying. Um, listen to your heart. Listening to your heart is a key piece. Your heart, your gut, whatever, depending on your human design. It might be your heart, it might be your gut.
Might be your
But
spleen.
trusting, or your spleen, yes, your intuition. And just really trusting your intuition, and those nudges that the universe gives you. Um, Focus on solving a problem, not just selling a product or service. So really digging into like how you can be of service to people. Remember your why. Don't forget your why, because we can get caught up in the mundane pieces and really just, and especially making money, paying the bills, feeding our families. So just remembering why you're doing what you're doing. Creating systems and having discipline on your work that you're doing. So when you're working, and boundaries. Whew, that was a big one. Yeah. So
Yes.
definitely creating boundaries around your time, your energy. And it's okay to say no to clients that aren't a good fit, or customers that aren't a good fit if you're in the service industry. Yeah, and self-care. Make self-care a priority for sure. And then I have so much advice because like we've been through it all, right?
Yeah, totally.
Learn from your mistakes. So like reviewing what has worked, what hasn't. Patience, because these things don't just happen overnight. So like holding on to the vision and trusting the journey and just being patient.
Yes.
I think that's all I got. I mean, I could
I
come up
love
with
it.
more, I'm sure.
No, I love it. I'm like, we're gonna pop that into a PDF and I'm just kidding. Thank you for sharing. And talking about resources, you have a beautiful resource for our listeners today, how to bring out your personality with brand photography. So what is
Yes.
that all about?
So that is about um how it's tips and tricks on brand photography. Sorry, not brand photography, but how to show up for your photo shoot. Because there's so much that goes into a photo shoot with me, that I want to help you be able to create that wherever you are, with whoever you are, with any photographer. So, picking locations that really kind of vibe with your brand. Um, Clothes, your wardrobe is a huge one. It's like really wearing clothes that you feel like a badass in. Because our clothes communicate a message also. So really, tapping into like, do I feel good in this? And when you are when you are wearing something you feel good in, that shows up on camera. Like the camera really captures that. Locate props. So props that tell the story of what it's like to work with you.
Mm.
Poses. So there's some poses in there. And
So fun.
little tips like, pretending you're talking to your best friend, like pretending the camera is your best friend and you're just hanging out with your best friend. So little tips on like how to just kind of ease the nervousness, or whatever. It's weird being on. It's weird
Like
showing
leaving
up
us
on
today, like,
camera.
hi.
Yeah. Yeah, so just little tips and tricks to make it normal. So yeah, there's lots of gold in there on yeah, how to bring out your personality. And it's not just maybe like showing up and being all la 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 and like out there. There's other smaller things that kind of add to that whole story that we create.
Beautiful. So for our listeners, thank you,
Thank
Kristen. Your resources will be
you.
dropped below and some information on how to get in touch with Kristen. So should you have any questions and or have an event that you're looking for a brand photographer to come out and support you with. Any last thoughts or comments before we wrap up our conversation today?
Oh, um, yeah, I'm finding on this journey of mine that the more that I kind of, and this, it kind of really ties in with brand photography as well. And, the more that I'm like embracing my uniqueness, my weirdness, my gifts and my talents, the more that I'm tapping into like, I don't know, I'm feeling more in alignment and I'm showing up more for my business. I'm more excited about my business. I'm more excited about the people that I'm working with. So just like I know it's so cliche, like be yourself. Yeah. Okay. Everybody says that. What does that actually mean? It just means like embracing all those things like that you think other people are maybe judging you for, like, maybe your earlobes are too big. Like just nobody is noticing those things about you except for you. So just embrace all the things about yourself that you think that you don't like, because they're the things that make you you, and love on them.
Love that. Love on you. Well,
Yeah.
Kristen Clancy from Storycatcher Photography, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. And for our listeners, thanks for watching.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.